Hey there, fellas. Take a look at this new guinea pig we have at our disposal. So one of our buddies bought the car, and after driving it for a little while, he decided he doesn't need it anymore. Now, I do remember people asking we take a regular gasoline engine. Naturally, we'll be using a Lada. This one right here is fitted with a nice 4-cylinder engine. Anyway, here's the idea. We make 2 cylinders run on gasoline, so no changes from the standard engine, while the other 2 we feed diesel fuel. So we do that, start the car and see how it runs, and whether it'll even start. Will the car be able to drive? Because when we tried to run the entire engine on diesel fuel, we did have some trouble. First off, the engine has to be hot. In that case, it runs a bit shite, but it does run. But warming an engine obviously requires you start it first. Our main hope is getting it to run on 2 cylinders, and for the other 2 we're going to be feeding diesel fuel to join in once the motor is warm. Hopefully we can pull it off. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Okay, so there's the engine. On top of the intake manifold you have the carby and the air cleaner. As for what we need to do, we need to remove the factory intake manifold and modify it to accommodate 2 carburetors. So one of them is going to feed 1 pair of cylinders, while the second is going to feed the other. Now this doesn't seem all that complicated, but how is this actually going to play out? Well, let's see. Let's get at it. Okay, so the holiday season is over. But for our fanbase, we want the holidays to continue. And so we've prepared a new present for you. Everybody who spends $100 or more in our shop is going to receive a special little surprise from me personally. It could be a video message for you or a friend, my autograph on a t-shirt or a hoodie, or an autographed postcard. Make sure to specify what you want in the order form. Always in stock we have sick-looking hoodies, stylish hats, t-shirts, caps, mugs, stickers, key fobs, as well as accessories for your cars. Plus, we are always cooking up new merch ideas, so treat yourself or someone close to some Garage 54 goodness. Hit the link in the description, spend $100 or more, and get a nice little personalized bonus. Make sure to use the code GARAGE100, good for a solid discount. We make an engine run half on diesel, half on gasoline, translation and voiceover by BMI Russian. So here's the situation, fellas. Here's how we've got the fuel system set up. We're running 2 carburetors, and the diesel fuel we'll be simply feeding through a tube. That's the benefit of having a carburetor, that you can simply allow the fuel to drip into it. Also, I've got this copper tube. I think we have some more of these somewhere. As for how we're going to use it, now this might come as a bit of a surprise to you. At the end of the day, diesel is diesel, and in order to ensure better operation, we want to warm up the diesel. So long story short, we wrap this tube around the exhaust manifold, and that way the diesel fuel is going to be warmed up before it's fed into the carburetor. It'll be reaching the carburetor already warm, which will ensure better vaporization and combustion. Now, after we installed the 2 carburetors, we went ahead and we don't quite know what's going on. I mean, 2 carburetors definitely isn't overkill for a 4-cylinder. Sergey took apart every carby we had to find the smallest jets, yet the engine still... When we started the engine on the 2 carburetors, we were all quite amazed by it. At the very least, from idle it felt super rev-happy. I mean, it immediately responds even when you so much as breathe on the gas. Also, it became really smooth. Now, naturally, as soon as we're done wrapping the tubes and whatnot, I think we need to head out and drive with the diesel system disconnected to see how the engine operates just on gasoline with the 2 carburetors, because to me this seems like some kind of miracle, because the car doesn't run at all like it used to. Anyway, we'll look into that, but for now let's finish putting all of this together. without connecting it for the time being, but we do need to assemble it in advance, because later on the engine will be too hot to work with. And once that's done, I really want to head out and see what changed as a result of the engine running on 2 factory Lada carburetors, because so far the difference is pretty dramatic. Whether it's better or worse, that we'll find out very soon. Okay, so everything is pretty much ready, and now, just like I promised, we'll go out for a drive in order to test the dual carburetor setup. So far I like how it starts and runs. It's cold, so there is a bit of vibration. I don't think I've seen a Lada engine run like this one cold. Once it warms up, it'll be even better. This is a very curious side effect. Okay, we've done a few adjustments. What's going on over there? Alright, let's try this out. See how well this even drives. Because so far the results are pretty amazing. But then, I mean, it's one thing at idle. What about on the move? Oh wow, it is actually faster. Man, this is pretty mind-blowing. I mean, we were going for something else entirely here. I mean, how? Look at it go in second. Not even a hint of any dips in power, none of that. Look at that. The power is just so effortless. What do you know? Isn't that something? Anyway, that's not what this experiment is about. I mean, it's a fun discovery regardless. It does take a while for the revs to drop to idle, though. Whatever. It's happy to set off in second. Yeah, this has got a welded diff. It just goes. So here's what we should do now. We'll bring the engine up to operating temp. So yeah, we warm it up. And hook up the diesel fuel. Okay, gentlemen, everything is ready. Now we... Oh, that's a bit hot. Now it's time to remove the gasoline hose and connect the one with the diesel fuel. You know what I think we should do, though? I think we'd be better off not completely disconnecting the gasoline supply. We'll just hook the diesel fuel up to this carburetor and allow it to... The motor is gonna cool down during preparation. On gasoline, it'll warm right back up, at which point we begin smoothly transitioning to diesel fuel. Then we look on to see what happens. Let's do this. Okay, we've got everything hooked up. There has been a change of strategy, though. We decided not to mount the bottle to the A-pillar. I don't know, it might be the spiral, but the fuel is barely even dripping into the carburetor. Someone's gonna have to sit in the car and squeeze the bottle to feed the diesel fuel into one of the carbies. So it'll be done manually to get a bit of pressure going, to ensure all of this works like it should. Alright, let's do this. So far, so good. The car is running. Oh, I have another mirror. We're doing great. Out through the gate. Let's try that again. There we go. And we drive. Where does that dude want to go? It is unclear. Oh, what's going on? The diesel doesn't seem to be kicking in yet. But once the traffic clears, we'll have already transitioned to diesel, I think. Do you think it'll start knocking? I don't know, but I'm also curious to find out. Honestly, I am genuinely curious if the engine is gonna knock or not. Is it going to produce a bunch of smoke? What'll happen? Okay, now it's starting to run a bit rough. And I felt a dip in the power. When I touch the... Oh man, so much traffic. Yep, now we're on diesel fuel. And we have knocking. We're losing fuel. Oh, we are? Well, that's a good thing. Yeah, now I can really feel it. It looks like there's even blue smoke coming from the tailpipe. Yeah? Man, I'm afraid to even let off the gas. I mean, what are we gonna do if it stalls? Ah, yeah, that's diesel smoke. That is most definitely diesel smoke. Yeah, this is not happy running on diesel. Even on a hot engine. Check out the smoke! The smoke! Some blue smoke. Very blue. Yeah, that's blue smoke. Yeah, this isn't gonna pull well, I'm afraid. But then who knows? Smells like a tractor. Yeah, it really does. And it's trying to stall. Man, look at that. And that's in first gear. How much? About 100 grams. Wait, it shouldn't have consumed that much. I mean, it is a diesel. Let's go that way. See how it behaves at speed. See what's gonna happen. You know, I thought we'd see a temperature increase on diesel, but that is not the case. Look at that, in first gear at low speed, everything seems to be okay even. Oh man, what an engine. It doesn't even care that we're feeding it diesel. It just runs. And even drives. I mean, how does that work? It was here before. Yeah, we have eaten through a bit. Well, the engine is running after all. It's getting a bit chilly in here. I'd better close the window. Oh, the heater even works, kind of. Hey, well, at least we're moving. And quite happily, too. Are you fed up with squeezing it yet? Yeah, it is what it is. Okay, the engine doesn't want to pull anymore. It's knocking instead. Okay, so there is a bit of torque. There does seem to be some extra torque in those two cylinders. Man, there's a blue smoke screen back there. That's diesel. I was just in first gear, but in second, it just gives up. Well, it sort of wants to accelerate, but it just can't. Doesn't want to give us full power. Doesn't pull in third either. Like, it just dies. What can I even say? The engine runs, but I think we should be heading back now. To open the hood and have a look. See what's up. I feel like we're about to stall. Easy now. I literally just realized... What? That I'm the fuel pump. We've already done that before, have you forgotten? It does not want to rev up. Yeah, the sound is very rough and gritty. And there's a lot of knocking. Yeah, it is very noisy. You can hear the valves rattling. Some pinging, yeah. We still have 2 cylinders running on gas. They're propelling us, apparently. Man, even clutch kicks aren't working. The engine is barely even revving up. That sucks. But isn't a diesel supposed to really go? I guess we should have fitted a turbo. Do you guys see that? It's shooting straight into the exhaust. That's blue smoke. What you typically get with diesel fuel. I mean, overall it does run. Wait a second, don't touch the gas. Let's see what it does at idle. Curious to see whether it's even able to maintain idle. Nope. It's not gonna maintain idle on just the 2. Okay, let's start it back up. Did you guys notice that? We're feeding diesel into this carby, but the engine is backfiring into the other one. Seems to be getting flooded. Well, what can I say on the matter? And the motor seems to be pretty unhappy. You've got 2 cylinders running on gasoline, the other 2 running on diesel fuel, but the 2 that are on diesel fuel, well, they sort of work. I mean, they have to be firing, but the efficiency, the compression ratio is just... It's obviously going to be very different on a diesel and a gasoline engine. Even though we still had spark, there was some kind of mixture being pulled in. Even with the fuel warmed up, I'm guessing the carburetor is also warm. Nah, it actually isn't. That's because it was pulling in cold air too. Yeah, that'll keep it cool. Anyway, the compression ratio is off, everything is wrong. And as a result, the diesel fuel, it wasn't igniting like it should. And apparently, well, I mean, the spark plug should have been getting it to ignite, at least a little bit. Because I'm fairly confident that 2 cylinders aren't gonna propel the car like that. And so I'm assuming it wasn't just the gasoline. The diesel had to have been doing something. There was a drop in efficiency, we had some severe knocking, and overall it wasn't doing much, but the experiment was a 107% success regardless. At the very least, we've confirmed that these 2 cylinders were doing something, because I wouldn't have even been able to get the car moving on just 2 cylinders. The engine wouldn't have been making any power, and we'd have been standing in place. In our case, the car was moving, so this had to have worked. Okay, fellas, that's all I got for you. Watch us, subscribe, send in your suggestions, comment, give us a big thumbs up. All right, catch you later.